The machine hummed like a god's whisper, low and eternal. Tobias pressed his hand to the control panel, his heart pounding in rhythm with the core's rising pulse. Coordinates set. Rome, 63 BCE. The year Cicero was consul, the year the Republic stood on a knife's edge. With a shimmer and a lurch, time cracked. When his vision cleared, Tobias stood beneath a brilliant sky, the sun slicing through columns of pale marble. The city breathed around him, vibrant, loud, raw. Dust rose with the cries of merchants, the bleating of goats, and the distant clang of a blacksmith's hammer. He wore a tunic, simple and unmarked, his translator device tucked beneath his collar. People passed him without a second glance, and for a moment it felt like magic, to walk unseen through the blood and glory of history. His mission was observation. No interference, no records left behind. But rules grow quiet under the weight of beauty. He found himself wandering the forum, eavesdropping on debates he'd once studied in dry textbooks. He watched orators, their arms sweeping like wings, inciting crowds with dreams of greatness or fears of the unknown. He sat on stone steps and shared wine with a weathered farmer who spoke of crops and gods and the madness of senators. He visited the temple of Vesta and watched the Vestal virgins tend the sacred flame. He wandered through narrow alleys, inhaling the scent of baked bread and olive oil. In the Subura, he saw poverty wrapped in resilience, laughter echoing despite cracked walls. One afternoon, he climbed the Palatine Hill and found an old olive tree twisted with age. Beneath it sat a boy no older than 12, sketching in the dirt with a stick. Tobias asked, "What are you drawing?" Gaius responded, "The future." Tobias inquired, "And what does it look like?" Gaius replied, "Fire, eagles, and then stars." They sat in silence for a while. Gaius then asked, "Will it be good?" "It will be everything, and you'll be remembered even if you never know it." The boy laughed and ran off, disappearing among the trees. The machine pulled him back at dusk. The city behind him glowed gold in the dying light. He looked once more at the skyline of ancient Rome, not as ruins, but alive, defiant, dreaming. When he returned to his own time, he wrote nothing. Some moments he realized are too sacred to be recorded. Later the following morning, the time machine wasn't much to look at, just steel and silence, hidden in the bones of a forgotten lab beneath London. But when Tobias stepped inside, it swallowed him like a secret. The mission was simple: observe, document, and return. Rome, 63 BCE, before Caesar crossed the Rubicon, before the world tilted. He emerged in the shadow of the Capitoline Hill. The air was warm, tinged with the scent of crushed herbs and smoke. Rome sprawled before him, vibrant, ruthless, alive. Tobias had studied this world for years. He knew it as dates and diagrams, names etched in textbooks. But walking its streets was something else. Here every breath carried dust and meaning. He wandered the markets, listened to merchants shout in Latin, marveled at the precise, almost aggressive beauty of Roman engineering. He kept to the rules at first: no contact, no interference. But humans were never good at watching from a distance. He struck up conversation with a bookseller named Lucius, who believed Cicero was a bore but admired his courage. Tobias debated poetry with a patrician girl who quoted Catullus with disdain, and every day he returned to the Palatine Hill, to the olive tree and the boy. The boy was always there, sketching with a stick in the dust. Tobias learned his name, Gaius. He had bright eyes and a gaze too old for his face. They talked often. Gaius was curious, clever, and asked questions Tobias could barely answer without betraying the future. Gaius asked, "Do you think gods live out there, or are they just men we haven't met yet?" Tobias responded, "What makes you ask that?" Gaius replied, "Because you're not from here. Your accent is strange. Your clothes don't quite fit. You carry yourself like someone who has seen cities with glass walls. You're from the stars, aren't you?" Tobias, "What?" "Gaius, I won't tell anyone, not yet." That night, Tobias returned to his machine. The data he had collected was priceless, but something gnawed at him, a curiosity he couldn't file away. He accessed the archives, a privilege only time agents had. He searched the boy's name, Gaius, son of a minor noble, born 63 BCE, no further records. No, that wasn't right. He expanded the search. Nothing. No census, no letters, no grave. It was as if the boy had never existed, unless Tobias ran a scan through cross-temporal anomalies. One file pinged, a redacted report, unauthorized time travel. Rome, 63 BCE, subject Project Janus. He hacked the encryption, the file opened, and he stopped breathing. Project Janus was an experimental operation. A child, genetically enhanced, mentally accelerated, immune to time decay, sent back to ancient Rome as a sleeper agent, implanted with limited memories, designed to awaken slowly. Purpose: to observe the origins of empire from within, to guide if needed, to become part of history. But the experiment failed, the child vanished, until now. Gaius wasn't just a boy. He was a traveller too, a relic of a black project buried by the same agency Tobias worked for. And the real twist? In a hidden line of the file, subject Janus also possesses latent psychic mimicry, able to absorb knowledge and traits through proximity. Tobias read it again, the blood draining from his face. The more time he spends with you, the more of you he becomes. He ran to the hill, but Gaius was gone. All that remained beneath the olive tree was a new drawing, a city not of marble but metal and light. Roman architecture fused with futuristic geometry, skies crowded with ships, a laurel crown made of wires. And one line, scratched beneath it in Latin, ubi sum ibi imperium estimated. Where I am, there is the empire.